Yeah, really broken form of Hebrew. So let me go to and let me prove that we will be speaking Hebrew in these last days, right? And the scripture is so subtle, but it's plain unto the men of the Lord. It's subtle, but it's plain unto the men of the Lord, right? This is Psalms 19, verse 1. It says, the heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament shew his handiwork. Now that's talking about what? Different signs and wonders. Also the satellites, right? The heavens, the radio signals, all right? When we put up these lessons, all right, that's what declaring his works and whatnot, all right? When we see the different signs in heaven, we will do lessons on them, all right? And his handiwork, right? The handiwork goes into the same satellites, a different space station and whatnot. Esau didn't figure that stuff out by his own. The Most High gave him that knowledge and power, right? That's why the scripture refers to him as the prince of the power of the air, because he controlled the radio waves. But the Lord gave us access to it so that we could correct that nonsense that they teach him and wake up the elect by the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And how do we identify ourselves through the word? Through the Hebrew language, because we are Hebrew Israelites, all right? We are Hebrew Israelites. It says, verse 2, it says, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. Day unto day uttereth speech. Speech what? Means of understanding, communicating, conveying a message, right? Something that someone could comprehend in the cognitive. That's the presuppose, remember. So lock you. Where is that boy? This one Solomon. This one Solomon. So lock you. This come at me like trying to break. Lock, I ain't finding it. Anyway, moving on. Right, it says, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. No speech nor language where their voice is not heard. So, no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. So there's men, the Lord, all across the world speaking different languages. Men, the Lord, speaking even in the ancient Hebrew language to one another, all right? Conveying different messages. And the Lord is going to put it in our spirit to what? To speak this this language, because it's just like it's a military thing. It's a military. Look at it like, not like. Look at that as a military tool, all right? We will teach in codes. Right, we will be teaching in codes or conveying a code to different men, Lord, to hide secrets from the enemy, because they think they might know the words, but they won't know the words. All right, and we could bring that up in what's that? Kings 18. find it. It's been a while since I've been to this preset. But anyway, there was an account whereby these heathens were asking the prophet or the Israelites to not speak in the Jews' language, alright? Because they didn't understand it. And that's why scripture said that that the Lord would send a nation whose language thou shalt not understand, right? Because their language is carnal and our language is spiritual. We're spiritual people, that's why we gravitate to it so much, right? Right? You know, sometimes we speak it so much we accidentally call 2/3 or a heathen, ak, or say shalawam, you know, depending on your mindset, you know. Then they would ask, you know, what really the means, and then, you know, you break it down to them, or you just like, don't worry about it, you know. Let me get Sirach, the prologue. I'm gonna read from the top, just to set the tone and the context, right? Because a man of understanding would have to perceive the importance of it, right? And this is the same spirit that the men of the Lord that are on the earth today are in, right? It says the prologue of wisdom of Yahushua, the son of Sirach, says, whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, right? Many great things have been delivered to us by the law and the prophets, right? The law meaning that's essential, that's the core value of our community, of our people, all right, of our nation. The law, right? The law, statutes, and commandments, the governing rules, the governing guidelines, the governing way of life, right? All right? Many great things, right? And the prophets is also being taught that it wasn't a custom for our people to learn other languages or to not know Hebrew, right? It was a custom. But our people learn other language for trade and whatnot, right? Because our people are very versatile, right? But Hebrew is our core part of our being, right? Says and by others that have followed in their steps, for the things which Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves. You see, the readers must needs become skillful themselves. This is a man that you see said from the beginning many great things from the law and the prophets. Right? You can't understand certain laws if you don't go into the Hebrew. For example, when you go into the scripture in Deuteronomy, they talk about what? Abhor not an Assyrian. You gotta go into that word. You gotta go into the lexicon. You gotta go into the what's the section called again? Like the comments and whatnot. And you'll see that there's a clerical error. Right? When it says thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, this abhor is an Assyrian or Syrian, because Assyrian goes back to Abraham's lineage. Abraham is a Syrian. Syrian, not Assyrian. Syrian. Syrian. Right? Going on, right? It says, which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also that they that desire to learn be able to profit them which are without, both speaking and writing. Profit them without, that both with speaking and writing. So our people were known for writing in our language. That's another thing too. Speaking is one thing, writing is another thing. Learn the characters, memorize the characters, you know. Right now I'm working on some art pieces whereby I could use, I try to do like a calligraphy version of the Hebrew alphabet, right? It's been a while since I worked on it, but you know, you're so accustomed to write in English and their cursive form or whatever, you know, it's your hand already trained to it. We're Hebrew Israelites, and we don't know how to write our own language. We don't know how to speak our own language. You know. I mean, the word is the main thing, obviously. But learning language is part of it too, right? We know Yahweh, we know Yahweh Shai, we know Yasharallah. At least we should. We know Shalom and basic stuff. But step it up a notch, yo. Send up blessings to brothers in Hebrew. Send up curses to these wicked people in Hebrew. Put power in it, alright? Because it's going to say that in the prologue, in Sirach, right? So, see, it says it right here. Be able to profit them which are without, both by speaking and writing. So the things that we learn, we wanted to profit our brothers and sisters in this truth, alright? Hence why one of the reasons I'm bringing out this lesson, right? To encourage, to exhort brothers and sisters to continue to grow as a Hebrew Israelite, right? It says, my grandfather, it says Jesus, but it's actually Yahushua or Joshua, right? My grandfather, Yahushua, when he had much given himself to reading of the law and the prophets and the other books. The law means from Genesis to Deuteronomy, right? And the prophets would go into Jeremiah, Nehemiah, Isaiah, Ezra, and whatnot, and the other books, right? The other historical books, First Kings, Second Kings, all right? Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and whatnot, right? And now in this time, the New Testament, right? The apostles, right? And all the books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on the books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things, all right? Addicted to these things. If we're Hebrew Israelites, we got to be addicted to our culture. This is our culture, bro. This is who we are. We got to lean more. And I'm speaking to myself first, right? Don't get it twisted. I'm speaking to myself first, because I could have been way more deeper and more fluent in it, right? Also in teaching it, passing on the knowledge more and more. But you know, you honestly, I make excuse and you know, you get caught up in life, you caught up in the different things of this world, and you're not able to carry out things you used to do back then, like a Hebrew word a day or a Hebrew prayer a week or whatnot. You know, a Hebrew lesson a week. You know, reading different books on the languages, the language structure and whatnot. But you know, the Lord put it back in my spirit, or stir up my spirit again, to grow even further. All right, to grow again. to grow more, I should say. But this thing is about growing. This thing is not about you know, whatever happen. I gotta learn from this and learn. But we all have to do our independent growth, independent research, make full proof of our ministry. All right. It says read back that part. It says to the intent, write something. That's his grandfather, right? Write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore, see that profit, you see, might profit much more in living according to the law, right? We can profit more, right? I mean, according to the law, obviously, but we're gonna profit more if we learn a little bit of Hebrew, you know. Scriptures talk about subtle speeches and whatnot. With the Hebrew, we can be subtle, and it's not like words they could look up just like that. They would have to understand the language structure, you know. And the Lord gave us a code, a heavenly code, a spiritual code, a celestial code, you know. So much words you could use that a lot of people in this world don't know and desire to know. But the Lord bless us, and it's plain and simple to us. So let's not take it for granted. You know, again, starting with myself, right? We can't take it for granted, because the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. All right. It says says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret, right? So they labor to interpret whereby they come short, right? So we don't want, well, I haven't come across it. I think a brother came across the Apocrypha in the Hebrew. I think it was translated, all right? But the blue letter doesn't cover the Hebrew. I think the Apocrypha was found in Greek, because I understand that there was 5,000 parchments of both Hebrew and Greek parchments found, and I think if don't quote me on it, but it was, I think it's 95% of it was Hebrew, either Syrian it was Hebrew and Syrian Hebrew and Paleo Hebrew. All right. They found the scriptures written in, which King James transliterated from. And you know, the final draft he released. All right. It says but they labored to interpret. So who are we in these last times? You know, we lost our way. Now we gotta fight for what we got. We gotta fight for what we have and what we had. All right. We gotta fight for what we have, right? Because this blessing is not no easy thing. You know, this blessing is you can't put a price on it. You can't put a price on it, you know, of knowing what we know, right? Where in the world you could go to a university and learn this stuff? They gonna tell you leave that shit alone, or they gonna give you some half-ass bullshit, bro. But you get it live and direct, free of cost. But then, well, it's not free, right? It's not free because you gotta present yourself as a living sacrifice. I mean, like literally kill yourself, but put in a lot of time and effort to learn this stuff. The apostles put in the work, you know. The internet wasn't as convenient as it is today back then, but it was useful to get us where we at right now. You know, like Scripture said, the Most High won't give us more than we can bear. You know, it says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated in another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference. All right, let me read it back. Let me read back that piece. It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated in another tongue have not the same force. Force means power. So you can say the Lord's Prayer in English, but they understand the meaning, because Hebrew is a direct language. It don't sugarcoat. It says the dog blue. It doesn't have the fluff like English and other language. The dog is blue. Alright? Dog blue. Full stop. Get to the point. Alright? Because it's direct, it's truthful. It states exactly what it needs to state, and that's it. No complications, no messed up shit like house and houses and mouse and mice. You know? 3 different ways saying one word or spelling one word. Well, there are some cases with that with Hebrew, not like, right? But the language is much more direct and structured, right? From the little that I know, right? From the little that I know, trust me, it's little compared to when the Most High unlock our minds and give us the true power. Like I played this video game. I haven't played it in like a couple years, right? But this video game named Elder Scrolls, Skyrim Elder Scrolls, right? And you could learn dragon. Like, what do you call this guy named Dragonborn, right? Dragonborn, and the Dragonborn can do this power thing called shouts, right? When he learned this language, power fly out from his direction, his mouth. It looked like his entire body, and it could do different things like light somebody on fire or freeze them, or you could run fast. And where you think they got it from? Where you think they got it from? All right, they got it from the Israelites. They got it from the Israelites. When Yahushua was on the cross, he spoke in Hebrew, but they didn't understand what he was saying. All right. Said Eli, Eli, and the Hebrew that's Aliyah, and they thought it was Elijah he was talking about. He's talking about my power. Alright? Yeah. Allah means power, and Yah at the end means me. Right? So the Most High didn't give us this just for, you know, we can talk along with them in school and why not. There's power behind it. Power, there's a force behind it. Alright? It says, let me read back this part. It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated in another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference. So there's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Imagine this messed up language, this terrible broken form in Hebrew. English in comparison to the pure Hebrew that Yahweh blesses us with, alright? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai says, it says, have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. It says, I'm gonna in that part right here. Let me get us out of precept. This is Bear with me a minute. this is 1 Maccabees chapter 7, verse 21. It says, but Alcimus contended for the priesthood, and unto him resorted all such as troubled the people, who after they had gotten the land of Judah into their power, did much hurt in Israel. Now when Judas, or Judah, because Judas is just a Greek way of saying Judah, saying Judah, right? Because the Greeks would add us or s to the end of their words to give homage to Zeus, but that's another lesson. All right. Now when Judas saw all the mischief that Alcimus and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen, he went out into all the coast of Judea round about, and took vengeance of them that had revolted from him, so that they durst no more go forth into the country. On the other side, when Alcimus saw that Judah, I'm going to say Judah, Salakia, Judah and his company had gotten the upper hand, and knew that he was not able to abide their force, he went again to the king and said all the worst of them that he could. The king sent second Maccabees. The king sent Nachaor, one of the honorable princes, a man had gotten the upper hand, and knew that he was not able to abide their force. He went, verse 26, Salakio. Then the king sent Nicanor, one of his honorable princes, a man that bare deadly hate unto Israel, with commandment to destroy the people. So Nicanor came to Jerusalem with a great force. Salakio, out of feeling. Yeah, this is the account with the brothers, right? Second Maccabees 7. Salakia voda, Salakia. Yeah, Second Maccabees chapter 7. (21). Right? It says, yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, all right? So we're going to exhort our people in our own language, right? That's how we will, that's another way. The scripture says in Malachi 3:18 that we will know the righteous from the wicked. No, the wicked Israelites that know Hebrew language, but they're not gonna use it the way the men of the Lord are gonna use it, all right? They're not gonna live the language, all right? Because it's a living language, right? It says, and she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with the courageous spirit, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach, and said unto them, all right? So this is a mother who doing this for her sons, her 7 sons, all right? So if a mother could do this for her 7 sons, wisdom is doing it for us, all right? I'm going to put in that context, all right? It's not that context, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to, be a little verse with the scripture. Lock you up, all right? Likewise, you women that have husbands, you encourage your husband in the Hebrew, all right? All right? And you women that have sons, encourage your sons in the Hebrew, all right? Now is the best time than ever, bro, because we need it. So much force is coming against us. Esau ain't playing, bro. Esau ain't playing. It says I cannot tell. Let me see up to which verse? 27. It says I cannot tell how you came into my womb. And this is what she's saying in Hebrew, right? So imagine, let me see if we can give an example. Oh, most of us would have seen Passion of Christ, right? And imagine how they did it in the Yiddish language, or even watch some other movies. How anime. Look at the anime. Some of those things they say in the Japanese language. It's sung better in Japanese than in language, all right? Like one of the sayings, like one of the words in the Japanese language is in Bleach. When they release this power sword weapon, they would say Bankai. And how they say it, an actor, I'm not saying acting or we put it out, in a way. But our language is a beautiful language, alright? And to hear it roll off, other brother's song, and that brother Manatazak Banyamian, that would do those visuals and whatnot, and he would put that echo or reverb effect on the voices with different Hebrew stuff. So knock you. Like how I would listen to Maxwell. I would listen to, what is this guy name again? It's Maxwell from Bible Gateway Audio Bible, and how he would read out scriptures in English and so forth. I was like, yo, I gotta learn some Hebrew like that, bro. It says verse 22, it says, I cannot tell how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you, but doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as you know, regard not your own selves for his law's sake. So she's saying all this in Hebrew, right? Like I was in Brazil before I was in the street, a teenager, right? And my mom knows Portuguese and whatnot, and she taught me a phrase. And they were trying to talk to me. There was the language barrier, of course, lost in translation. And she taught me this 1 or 2 phrases and whatnot. And I went downstairs hanging with these guys in the streets. Jake, like a bull on the corner and whatnot. She was saying something. He was saying something, and I kind of understand what he was saying. And he saw what this guy with this mohawk, and he looked like a pica-pau, a bird, And I said the Portuguese word "saifora," and I was practicing. And when I said it, they understood what I was saying, because it means get out of here. And just to relate to them in that language, it kind of left like it goes into speech, as the scripture was talking about, with speech, right? The way you speak, the cadence, the way you tone it and whatnot, the way the delivery. So the way she was saying it in Hebrew, that's why she had to say it in the Hebrew language, for them to understand that there's power, all right? For them to fully grasp, all right? Because what my mom taught me, because she knows a few languages, what my mom taught me is that even though you know multiple languages, I mean, I kind of know multiple language, right? Your mind translates the words in English first, and then in Hebrew you receive it in that language, and then it has to translate it to what the original, the first language that you learn. Right? So that being their first language, Hebrew is our first language. Right? A brother in our camp, he brought out a beautiful revelation that babies speak Hebrew. When they say da and ga and certain words, obviously, it's Hebrew they're speaking. Right? All right? Broken Hebrew, or it doesn't have a full speech pattern, but who knows? Who knows? All right, let me continue in this. It says, but doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generations of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as you now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. All right, 24. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised, see that? The heathen fell away,